Good morning, Year 4, and welcome to today's reading. So today we're going to be doing our big question of the week, but first of all, we're going to get started with our do now. So in front of you, you should have the ordering task. So you've got 5 events, as always, to order in the order they appear in the text. So make sure you've got the text in front of you as well, and you do go through and check. Don't just guess, and make sure you're checking for the right answers. So off you go and come back when you're ready. Okay, so hopefully you have managed to go through the text. I'm just going to show you where the answers were before we order the events. So reading through the first one that we had, it said here at the bottom, his attention began to wander. So that is Tranio watching the theatre. So he was getting a bit bored, his attention's wandering. So it's a little bit of an inference, that one. So hopefully you managed to pick that one up. And then if we continue scanning, this is where the earthquake starts to happen and the scenery splits and props are falling. Then we keep going, Tranio runs away. He goes to Livy's house, and then we have the part about the bakery. So the loaves lay scattered on the floor. That was one of our events. And then they go through the streets. And if we keep going on to the next page, we have the part about the bird chirping frantically, and then right at the end is obviously where the children climb up on to the boat. So let's have a look what order that should have been in. So you should have had 2, 3, 5, 4, 1. So well done if you managed to get those in the correct order. So on to today's question. So today's big question is, should Tranio have run away from the theatre? So you might have your own opinion about this already, but obviously we are going to be going back to the text to find evidence to support our answer. So again, in your home learning document, you've got this sheet as well. Obviously, if you don't have a printer at home, you can also write it out as well, which I'm going to show you. So we're going to be looking for evidence for yes, he should have run away, and no, he shouldn't. So if you haven't got a printer at home, you can always write it down on a sheet of paper like I've done here to find your evidence. So we're going to start by going through. So my question is, should he have run away from the theatre? So on the first page, because we've read this a lot now, we know this whole page is about him watching the theatre. Nothing has really happened at this point, okay? They're just practicing. His attention begins to wander. So we're going to be starting on the second page to help us find our evidence, because this is where the ground starts to shake. So then something happened. The stone steps creaked, the flats began to rattle, and the building quivered. Props fell to the stage, and the scenery split. Tranio's father froze. So I'm going to use that as some evidence, because the props are falling and the scenery is splitting. We can see from the picture there as well, if things are falling down, it might not be very safe for him to be in the theatre. So I'm going to use that for evidence for yes, he should run away. Things are falling in the theatre, so it might not be safe. So that would be a good reason for him to run away from the theatre. And then we have to think about the other side as well. So why might not have been a good thing for him to run away? Well, if I keep going, the actors began to relax. Here we go again. Well, because I know what's happened in the story so far, I know that the people in the town of Pompeii are used to these tremors. So they're just chanting, here we go again. So they're used to this happening. It's not really a big deal. So I might say they chanted, here we go again, because they are used to the tremors. And then I might go on to explain later in my answer that there was no reason for him to run away, because it wasn't a big deal. It was just a small tremor that they're used to. So I found a reason for yes and no. So what I would like you to do is carry on going through the text for the rest of the pages, and can you find some more evidence? So you can record it in a book or on a sheet of paper, and then come back when you're ready, and I'll be going through some more examples. So off you go. Okay, hopefully you've managed to have a go at that. I'm just going to pop up the slides and we'll look at some more examples. So I said things were breaking and falling, so it might not be safe for yes, which we already had. Another reason for yes is he also wanted to see his friend Livia. Another reason, they managed to get to the boat. And also, because they've managed to get to the boat, it might be safe for them there. Okay, we don't know for sure that's going to happen. And reasons for no, his dad said there was nothing to fear, so there wasn't really a reason for him to leave the theatre, and everyone carried on as normal. He should have stayed with his father in case something bad did happen. And also, even though he is in the boat now with Livia, he could be trapped and no one knows where they are. So we don't know that for sure yet, but that could be a reason. So what we're going to do now is write our answer. And I'm just going to show you how we might do that. Okay, so as always, I'm just going to zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. I'm going to start with, in my opinion, or I think that. Remember, it's your opinion, so you might agree or disagree with what I'm going to say, or we can also write both sides if we want to. I'm going to start with, in my opinion, I think Trainio should not, I'm going to say, have run away from the theatre. So we're going to start by agreeing or disagreeing with the question, should or should have not run away. And then we can start to use our reasons and evidence. So I'm going to use a conjunction firstly. So I think because of what the story has said so far, and they haven't really been scared of the tremors in the past, obviously in Trainio's position, he shouldn't really have run away because there was nothing to worry about. So firstly, his dad, missed the line there. His dad said there was, and I'm going to use a quote from the text, so I'm going to use a little quotation mark, nothing to fear, and everyone carried on as normal. And I'm going to add another point, so I'm just going to use also, I could say as well as this, he should stay with his family, so his dad, in case something had happened. So obviously at the time he didn't know that obviously there was going to be the ash cloud, they just thought it was small tremors, so he probably should have just stayed with his father in case. So now I'm going to argue the other side because I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to say on the other hand, or I could say however, on the other hand, he is now in the boat with Livia, so he could be safe. Now again, I don't know that yet, but it does say in the text, if I go back to that section at the end, no one noticed small children climb up in the narrow plank of a small Greek cargo ship and hide beneath a pile of coloured rugs. So that suggests to me that they might be protected. And we also know that the men were untying the ropes. So maybe the ship might go off into the water, okay? So it might mean that they'll get away. We'll see, obviously, next week. So I'm just going to read through and make sure I've got enough points in there. So in my opinion, I think Trainio should not have run away from the theatre. Firstly, his dad said there was nothing to fear, and everyone carried on as normal. So that's my evidence from the text. Also, he should stay with his family in case something bad happened. On the other hand, he is now in the boat with Livia, so he could be safe. So I've got lots of points in there to argue. So we're looking for at least 2 or 3 pieces of evidence from the text. Okay. So it's your turn now, so go away and have a think about your answer. You may want to just argue one side or both sides. If you're arguing both, making sure you're using those conjunctions in between, so like on the other hand or however. So do post your answers to Seesaw, and then we'll hopefully have a talk about them in your briefings later. Have a good day, everybody.